Welcome to the Militia gaming community. I'm Trigger, and this is my guide for the Next Chase Summit in the Crew 2. Let's go! The idea behind these summit guides is to prepare you to earn platinum rewards every single week. That's why I put this video out before the summit goes live, and I purchase all of the cars and run all of the events beforehand so you don't have to. I'm not claiming to be the best in the world, but I do have some really good advice for the average player to help boost you from gold or silver up to platinum. I get platinum every single week, and it's because I study the best runs for each event before the summit goes live. This video, like I said, is just a collection of things that I've learned from that studying. Alright, starting off with the Las Vegas Hotel's boat escape. This escape is very straightforward. Looking at the map and the path that the world record holder takes, you need to stay to the left at the fork. There really isn't any tricks to this one. You need to remember to trim by holding down on the left analog stick the entire time that you're going, and boost wherever you can. The affix stats you want are Pure and Pump, since NOS will greatly help you achieve a longer distance. And again, because NOS is a factor, I would recommend the Nitro Chemist set bonus. Like usual, I'm using the 1414 Demon, and these are my pro settings. Next up is the Downtown LA Escape. The world records for this escape were set with a drag car. However, those runs require a ton of skill and are not going to be possible for the majority of players, so to give you something that you can complete, I will be showing you the method using a Hypercar. If you want to give the drag car method a try, you can do this exact same route with your dragster. Nitro Chemist is extremely recommended. It will make the difference between a 10,000 yards and 12,000 yards distance. Alright, I'll let the whole run take place, and I'll be back when it's over with my pro settings. Next up is the Manhattan Slalom. There are two things I recommend for your build before you start this slalom. The first is a set of score breaker parts, and the second is to have skilled as your affix stat on every single part. With that setup and a lot of practice, I was actually able to achieve a world record on Xbox for this event. I must have taken at least 50 to 100 runs at this event, because I was so close to number 1 that I just had to keep going until I got it. I'm using the Zonda, and my pro settings look like this. Next up is the street race called Detroit Interstate using the Ninja H2 Light Rider Edition. This race has no real cuts in it, so do the best you can. My biggest piece of advice is to make sure that you don't hit any of the guardrails along the highway. These slow you down to a crawl. It's better to slow down a little bit and make the turn than to slam into the wall or even just graze the wall. Even that will make the bike slow down a lot. This Ninja does not have a very sharp turning radius, so I recommend these pro settings. Next up, the brand new chase event called Hyperway Pursuit. You can use any Hypercar Inception unit, but because we have to buy the Veneno anyways for a later event, I will be using that. Chase events in the summits are tough because your score will be based on how fast you can take out all 8 bandits. I recommend having Nitro Chemist as your set bonus if you have it. I can't really give you any specific tips for this event because it's a brand new chase event that we have not seen yet. You can practice by doing the other Hypercar events, but just as a general tip, try to keep the bandit cars in front of you. Don't slow down if you do let one get behind you. It wastes more time to try to take that one out than to just speed up and keep moving. Shoot for under a minute on this event and you should be okay. My Veneno Pro settings are like this. Next up is the hypercar race called Latrell's Car Part 2, using the Egoista. This race itself doesn't have any tricks or shortcuts, but I would recommend practicing it a couple of times to get used to the correct lines. There are a couple of places where you need to take a wider angle in order to keep speed and not hit any walls or buildings. I had an okay race in this clip and managed to snag the 25th best time. I think I definitely could have raced cleaner, so hopefully when it comes to my summit run, I will do better. Nitro Chemist is definitely recommended, as well as Pure and Pump for the affix stats. My Egoista Pro settings are like this. The next event is the Strip West Street Race, using the Veneno Interception unit. Obviously the car in this video is not the Veneno, but this is a crossover event. It's a street race that you will be competing in using the hypercar and thus a crossover. That being said, there's only one cut that I would recommend and it's at 47%. You'll cut left just before this white building with the welcome sign on it. This is a very tight cut, so try not to slam into any of the parked cars or the building. If you take it slow like I did, it still cuts off 3 to 5 seconds from your run, and that can make a big difference in your points for the summit. Since you will be using the Veneno, here are my pro settings once again. Up next is the touring car race called Serial Jumpers, using the 488 GT3. In this race, there are several jumps, and I would recommend avoiding all of the ones that you can without crashing or going off into the grass too much. The 488 isn't the fastest car, especially when you don't have it fully leveled up like me, but you can definitely make a good time if you drive without making mistakes. The jumps definitely slow you down, and so does the grass, so try to avoid those two things. At about 33%, there is a jump to the left. Make sure you hit that instead of taking the road. It will save you a ton of time. Other than that, drive well and you will be fine. My 488 Pro settings look like this. And the last event of the summit is the Downtown Detroit Street Race using the beautiful Murcielago LP640. This race doesn't have any real shortcuts, but I will allow this entire lap to play so that you can see my racing lines through the turns. This run was good enough to get rank 22 on Xbox, so I know it will be good enough for the summit. I feel like a better driver would have been able to take this course faster, but the lines are going to be similar. Alright, I'll show you the pro settings after this lap has finished. My pro settings for the Murcielago look like this. And that's it for this one, guys. Don't forget, if you have any questions, you can hit me up on Instagram or Twitter. My DMs are always open. Thank you so much for watching, and shout out to the Militia subs. I'll catch you on the next one. Trigger out.